Hi everyone, and welcome to today's Ciphr webinar. It's our Q1 showcase spotlighting our HR software and recent developments in our functionality. It's great to have you with us today. I'm joined by Simon Whitkiss, our Chief Product Officer. Hi Simon, how are you?
Really good. Thanks, Catherine, and great to be joining you this morning.
Fantastic, thanks for joining us. And we also have Laurie Mahmood, who's our Product Manager. Hi Laurie, how are you?
Hi Catherine, very well, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Jolly good. And finally, last but not least, we've got Phil King, who is VP of Sales. Hi Phil, how are you doing?
Hi Catherine. Yep, really excited about this morning. Thanks for inviting me.
Fantastic, great to have you all with us today. Here's a look at our agenda before we get started. We'll give you an overview about who we are and what we do, just in case you haven't come across us before. We'll give you an overview of our software and services, just in case you're not aware of the full offering that we have. And then we'll give you a demo of our new user interface, a look at our new analytics suite, and we'll also take a sneak peek at some other things that are on the horizon, including some AI functionality that's coming soon to our HR product. We'll have time at the end for a question and answer. Please send your questions in using the control panel. There's a specific area for Q&A, upvote other users' questions, and we'll tackle those at the end. So do say hi in the chat as well if you've got any questions for our presenters or just want to network with your fellow attendees. This webinar is being recorded and the recording will be emailed to you afterwards, so you can rewatch it at your leisure or share with a colleague. And with that, I'm going to hand over to Phil to introduce us to you. Thanks, Phil.
Thanks, Catherine. Do I get a coffee voucher as well? Just thought I'd ask. So look, first of all, I'm going to do a little bit of a scene set, and thank you all for your time this morning. It's really appreciated, especially on a Monday morning. I'm going to do a little bit of a scene set to introduce you to Ciphr and what we do and what's important to us and the way that we work with our customers. And then I'll be passing you over to Laurie and Simon to go through some really exciting stuff today. So, Catherine, if we could just go on to the next slide, please. So, for those of you who are not familiar with us, Ciphr provide best-in-class people management solutions and services to really, in essence, help you to help your people, your colleagues. So today we're going to be showcasing some of the exciting things that we're doing this year. What I probably should point out is, obviously, due to the time allowed, as you'll appreciate, this isn't going to be a sort of full product demo today or run through. Rather, it's a bit of an idea, give you a real idea of what's new, what's changing. But it goes without saying, we'd be delighted to talk to you individually in a little more detail. Okay, if you can move on to the next slide, Catherine, please. Want to just emphasize, and hopefully it will come across today, that it's not just about the tech. So whether it's via engaging recruitment, onboarding tools, or through supporting and enhancing performance, learning and reward, we're very much around helping you to attract, develop and retain the best talent in what we know is a very competitive market. I mean, that's a pretty sort of sector agnostic challenge that we're all facing. If you go on to the next slide, Catherine. So really, having effective systems and services supporting all aspects of the people journey is all about affecting real insight, hopefully informing your organizational strategy, supporting your growth. And I think it's important to point out there that that's not just financial growth, but also developmentally and culturally as well. If you move on, Catherine. And I think ultimately, we're very much focused and obsessed with amplifying HR and people management generally across your organization. So we really want to raise your profile, your voice, your influence, your impact, because really that, combined with solutions and services that can underpin and reinforce your organization's culture, brand and identity, is very much about translating that across the organization to maximize the value gained from, but also to your colleagues as well, which ultimately is going to be a positive return for everybody as well. Okay, if we can move on, Catherine, and on to the next slide, please. So in terms of what we do and how it all fits together, quite a good visual representation here of really the Ciphr portfolio and the way that we work with our customers. So we provide software and services to support value return from all aspects of that people life cycle, whether you use hire to retire, cradle to grave, etc. But it's very much around software and services covering effective and engaging recruitment, talent attraction and onboarding, through to everything you'd expect from a robust and effective HR platform, including time, absence, pay, reward, benefit, performance, talent management and learning, but also including extensions out to cloud payroll, and also outsourced services. So whether that be DEIB consultancy, whether that be managed payroll, outsourced payroll service, whether that includes things like learning digital content as well. Got something really exciting to talk about later. As you can see there, we've got benefits on there, which is a new addition to our portfolio. So I'm going to be delighted to talk about that for a few minutes a little bit later on. Ultimately, you're the first touch point for people coming into your organization and the last touch point before they go. So we're very much looking to be your central source of truth in terms of employee and people information. And that could be volunteers, contractors, students, interns. Typically, most of our customers are going to be working with their employee data. But this is also about integrating to other systems and services across your portfolio. So very much supporting single point of data entry and as seamless an end user experience as possible. If we can move on, Catherine. And just last slide before I hand over to Simon. Hopefully some of what's on screen here will resonate. Ultimately, what we do is driven by our customers. Yes, it's also driven by our own market insights and technological changes and opportunity and legislation, but critically, it's what challenges are being faced by the HR community. And much of what we talk about today and our wider product and service program is very much centered on addressing today's challenges. And whilst the list on screen isn't exhaustive, and we absolutely recognize unique demands placed on your individual organizations and also sector specific needs as well, I hope some of the things on screen here will resonate. The continuing discussion around hybrid and flexible working through to skills development and succession, and the need to maximize your colleagues, your peers' experience and well-being to really gain that market advantage in attracting the right talent. And then those hot topics around DEIB and the use and deployment of AI. Ultimately, we've all got unique challenges and demands and opportunities that come from those as well. But some of these things on screen here don't really discriminate, and I think probably affect all of us. And hopefully you'll see as we go through the rest of the session this morning, some of the playback in terms of supporting those trends. So I'm going to stop now, and I'm going to hand over to Simon to start taking a look at what we've got to offer. Over to you, Simon.
Thanks, Phil. Thanks for that intro. And so, yeah, here's a bit of a recap of, or a bit of a summary of Ciphr 25, which is kind of all the things that we're doing this year. Ciphr is a powerful system, and what I'm really pleased is, firstly, we're kind of bringing a real fresh new interface to Ciphr, which actually is going to help you unlock even more of the power. On top of that, we're going to be showing you today our Ciphr Analytics suite, which is going to allow you to drive brand new insights out of the data the system holds. As part of that data, we're also going to get a sneak peek of AI in a bit, which is really cool. Compliance is on here. Compliance, we're not going to touch on hugely today, but compliance is a strong thing for us as a provider of HR and payroll software to the UK mid-market. We feel very strongly that we can help you be compliant, and that's something that's core to what we do. As I mentioned, the power in the software, so that's why we're rolling out in-app help and guidance, so that actually you and your users and employees can get and leverage more of that power. And finally, cloud-based payroll. We're not touching on that at all today, but we've got another webinar happening 3rd of February where you can actually see our new cloud-based payroll in action. So please do come along to that as well. Okay, so I'm going to move on now and actually start showing you some of our new software that we've been working on recently. So I'm just going to share my screen. And the first thing to note is we're going to start with the logins page. Now, I mean, you might say, well, that's okay. It's a fairly regular login page, but I think that is actually the highlight of some of the work that we've been doing in Q1. You know, to your users, this login page is going to be very familiar, whether it's Facebook or BBC. This looks very similar to those, and that's really important because whilst, you know, as HR administrators, you might be logging in day in and day out. We also appreciate you may have some employees that are more occasional users, perhaps a janitor who needs to gain access once in a while to book holiday. And it's important that the sign-in system is logical, is familiar. So that's kind of part of it. So that's kind of our sign-in system. I didn't have to do any kind of 2FA prompts there, as I'd already kind of logged in as part of prep for today. But if I hadn't done that for a while, then I've been prompted to submit my 2FA information. And much like any kind of systems you get nowadays, SMS or an app, it's really important to keep your data secure, and that's also really easy. But also, what's better than typing in a username or a password? And frankly, that's not having to do it at all and clicking a button. And actually, we've also taken the opportunity to really improve our single sign-on capabilities now, so that actually it is a couple of minutes just to configure how this works with, say, Microsoft or Google. So this is an example here. It's our internal Ciphr system that we use internally to run our business. I just click the next button and I'm in. It is so easy. And there I'm straight to my dashboard. Indeed, you can see what's important to me. I've got a holiday coming up, and I always like to see that on my dashboard. Anyway, so that's just a little bit about the sign-in. Just one of the first things we've kind of worked on in Q1, coming out in Q1. But also, let's dive a bit more into the actual user interface itself. So what will immediately hit you is it's just fresh, it's clean, it's modern. But also what we want to do is, when you come to this screen for the first time, we want to make it as easy as possible for you to get to grips with it. And that's why when you come to this page for the first time, you'll get presented with your first kind of welcome tour, a bit of in-app help, just helping you get to know the system. And what it'll do, it'll just introduce me to the system and kind of help me navigate the system, whether it's telling me about search or, for example, how to access my profile. It just helps me get the most. And as well as kind of familiarizing with the application, we also kind of deep dive into functionality. So here I'm on the dashboard, and for example, there's in-app guidance for the dashboard as well. And it's just what it will do, it will just prompt me as a user to guide me into how I set up my dashboard. And if my dashboard were empty for whatever reason, we'd actually automatically launch this. So again, you can see here how these in-app guidance wizards combined with our new UI is really going to help you unlock the power that's in Ciphr. That's a little bit about kind of rolling out the in-app guidance that we've got coming, but also just want to deep dive a little bit more into the new interface. So the menu on the left, it's been completely reworked to be action orientated. And what we've done is made sure that the most common things that an employee wants to do are just the easiest things that they want, that they can reach. So for example, I'm quite often coming in here to book a day off, as we saw earlier. It's just very easy for me to go to holidays and absence and book and view time off. Really nice and easy. But also, Ciphr is a powerful system. So there's a lot of functionality under the covers. And that's why we've got this search functionality. So it's really easy for me to find whatever functionality I want to access. In this case, for example, the org chart, really easy for me to find it. So that's a quick look as kind of an employee. What I'm going to do now is just log in as HR administrator. As you can imagine, the menu there looks a little bit different. So I'm just going to get my login details for the HR administrator. And what you'll see instantly is, firstly, the menu is a lot bigger. So this is all the functionality that's available to a HR administrator. But you get that same kind of look and feel. And importantly, as a HR administrator, you might well be doing some administering and configuring of the system. That is also really easy. So if I'm administering the holiday and absence section, you can see there we've got it right within that bit. And it's easy for me to administer the holiday section. And also as a HR administrator, I've got all the information and functionality that I would expect to see. So as a HR administrator, I might want to see, for example, the performance across the organization, perhaps access the performance 9-box grid, or take a look at the flight risk 9-box grid, all very easily accessible from the new menu system. But also, as you can see there, again, configuring this section is really easy for me as a HR administrator. I can see it all there just in that section. And not only that, for example, I just want to show you something else that we've added to the configuration as a HR administrator, and that's branding. We know your HR system is quite a personal thing to your organization. It's a big part of your culture, so we want you to take in the Ciphr system and make it your own. So this is where you can name the applications that you use. We know quite often our customers like to name it as part of their culture and values. And this is where you can change the logo, change the icon that's used by the browser. You can also change the color of the system. So for example, let's choose a bit of a vibrant green. We can change the font, and also we can maybe beef up the coloring on the menu. And also here you find the ability to change the image that's used in the sign-in system so that you can really make it your own. And then importantly, as I scroll up, it's giving us a preview of what that new branding is going to look like. And also it's really easy to apply different branding to different companies within your business. So ensuring everyone gets that cultural, that unique view that they want. So that's a little bit about branding. I'm not going to save that because I don't think we want to see the rest of the demo in lime green. Something else that we've also been working on quite a lot is our mobile interface as well. So what I'm going to do now is just hand over to Laurie, who's going to actually show us a bit more of the work we've been doing on our mobile interface.
Cool.
There we go, Laurie, you're on screen. Take it away.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Simon. Morning all. So yeah, as Simon has said, it's not just our desktop interface that we've been working on. We've also been working really hard over the last few months developing a brand new mobile optimized version of our product. So yeah, we spent a lot of time in 2024 working with our customers to understand their employees' needs when it comes to using mobile. And today I'm going to show you a couple of areas on our new mobile interface, and I hope you enjoy it. But yeah, first of all, you'll be able to see that when a user first signs in on mobile, that they'll land on their dashboard screen. And from speaking with our customers, it probably comes as no surprise that the #1 user case for employees needing to use their mobile is to book time off. This could be, an employee that don't have access to a work laptop or a desktop, or it could be that you're home on a weekend, you've just made some plans for some time off, and rather than having to sign in to your laptop, you would rather just pick up your mobile and be able to request the time off there and there. So we've tried to make it as easy as possible, and that's why mobile takes quite a heavy presence here on your dashboard for users to be able to just do that. Before I show you how a user can easily book some absence, I'm going to just move to our menu screen. So here you can see that we've mirrored the same design as our desktop UI, so that users have a really consistent experience when moving between our desktop and our mobile version. And you'll also see here that the branding that Simon just spoke about that's been applied to the desktop version will also carry on through and be applied to the mobile version of Ciphr. So with that being said, let's book some time off, and I'll just show you how easy it is to do. So as a user, I can come in here, I can access it from my dashboard, or I can access it from the menu. I can see my previous absences. But if I'd like to book a new absence, I can come into the system. We've just made it a few simple steps. I can choose which type of absence that I'm requesting. So in this demo, I'm going to choose some holiday. I can see what my holiday entitlement is. And then let's say I would like to book some time off for next Monday the 3rd. So I have the ability here to choose start or end times if I want to take a half day or a partial day. I can scroll down, make sure I'm happy with the absence. And then I've got some additional information. So if I wanted to, I could leave some notes for my manager or the verifier to see why I'm requesting that time off. And I also have the ability here to add a document. So we're really trying to make use of mobile features here. So as an example, if the type of absence that I was adding was some sickness and I wanted to add a fit note, I'd have the ability to do that here too. And then once I'm happy, I can click submit, and you will see that my absence has now been sent for verification. So really nice and straightforward, and just trying to make it a really enjoyable and easy experience for users to do that on mobile. So the second feature that I'd like to show you on our mobile, and I've just touched on it, but it is documents. So you will see, bear with me a second, just jump back. There we go. Cool. So you will see that a user case that we found from our customers was that they'd like users to have the ability to be able to use their mobile to view any existing documents that are there about them. So that could be pay slips, anything else that's in their document folder. but they would also like the ability for users to be able to upload documents. So as an example, if I click new document and I went to, let's say, take a photo, here on my desk I have an example passport, as that might be a reason as to why a user might want to sign into their system on their mobile and be able to upload a passport and send it to HR. I have the ability here to complete the information. So I could write passport, any other notes I would like with it. I can put that in my personal documents area, and then I could hit update. So the final area of the system, or say system of the mobile version at the moment, I'm going to show you is our employee directory. So our new mobile interface makes it really easy for users to stay connected with their colleagues while they're away from their desktop or laptop. Here, users can have the ability to search for colleagues. They could click on an email address and they could send an email. Or if I was to click on the telephone number, because they're out on the road and they don't have access to the telephone number, they can just call directly from mobile. So that's everything. I wanted to give you a sneak peek into what's coming with our mobile version of the product. There's lots more exciting enhancements coming throughout 2025. So yeah, thanks for listening. And I'm now going to hand back over to Simon, who's going to share with you our new data analytics product.
Thank you, Laurie. Just going to reshare my screen. So yeah, as Laurie mentioned, just wanted to talk to you now about Ciphr Analytics, which is rolling out over Q1. And it's already here in the menu, and I can click it. I'm currently in HR, but I can quickly jump into our analytics product. Keen-eyed amongst you there will have seen the Power BI icon pop up. So yeah, this is based on Power BI, but it's based on our Microsoft stack, technology stack. And importantly, that means if you've already got Power BI skills in the organization, you can absolutely leverage that to help you drive Ciphr Analytics and get the most out of it. So I'm just going to tuck away the menu here so that I get all of the data in a good view. So firstly, you can see some of the key metrics I might want to know as a HR leader. So headcount, salary, age, length of service. And at the moment, I can see that broken down by division. So headcount, salary by division. I can see some things like average age and things like that. And across our dashboards as well, this is always tabulated. So it's actually easy to see the data that builds up. And also from there, you can get it out to Excel easily enough. But it'd also be very easy for me, for example, to change this. We've got a number of ways we can view the data, for example, by group, department, line manager. However you may have your organization unit set up, you can do that as well. So the data has just changed to be by group. I'm just going to flip back to division, and now I'm just going to kind of just expand out all of the filters we've got for the organization view. So we could also perhaps do some age range banding, and we could take a look at that. And then perhaps we also then want to filter on a particular department, and instantly the dashboard is updating. And the idea is, you know, if you've got a CEO and they have a random question one day, as a HR leader, you can come in and just very easily answer that question for them. Be very easy for you to just take any question that comes at you and use analytics to answer the data. But also really important is the provenance of that data as well. So it's also very easy to drill into the underlying data. So if we go back to our division view, I've done a quick filter here on the dashboard on sales and marketing. And at the bottom, I can instantly see and be able to drill down to the data that makes that up. So it's really easy for me to see what the underlying data is that builds up to those key metrics I can see on the dashboard. So that's our kind of organizational dashboard. I also want to just touch briefly on the Organization Explorer. This is where you can really get into the data and actually build up different views, which you can either analyze here or take into Excel. So for example, let's take a common example of perhaps we're drilling into gender pay gap, a very common exercise. It's very easy for me to kind of filter on some key metrics like headcount and total salary. And what I can also do, for example, as well, is perhaps not everyone has completed their gender information. So I'm just going to filter on those that have disclosed their gender. And now what I could also do as well is I could perhaps change it so that I'm actually looking at it across the group and then looking at it across the division. And then once I've done that, I've got a table here where I can actually expand and see across those groups and those divisions, headcount and salary broken down by gender. And then if I want to, very easy for me with Power BI functionality to get that into Excel in this format, and I can take it for some extended analysis via Excel. So really powerful organization dashboard there. We've also got other dashboards. Holiday, absence is a good example where this time we're actually looking at specific information relevant to absence. So we're looking at absence hours, looking at percentage hours, and you can imagine doing that across division, group, line manager, department, all sorts of really useful information. But I also wanted to highlight DE&I. So this is a special dashboard in that it looks very similar to the organization dashboard, but it also picks up all of the DE&I fields that are in Ciphr as standard, but also we recognize organizations may vary in how you may want to capture DE&I information. So it will also pick up any additional DE&I fields that you've got. So you can do all of the usual kind of filtering across those DE&I fields, but importantly, firstly, you can't drill down to the underlying data. So I cannot see here for DE&I the underlying data that makes this up, because clearly we want to protect those DE&I information on the analytics. But also, if you do filtering such that you're able to filter a cohort down to 1 or 2 employees, then also it will instantly hide that information, because again, we're keen that people can't interpolate protected characteristics using analytics. And also, talking about data and data protection, Ciphr Analytics follows all of the data permissions that you've already got set up in Ciphr HR. So here I'm logged in as a HR administrator, so I can see everything that I can see in Ciphr HR as a HR administrator. But if, for example, I was a line manager, then typically I'd only be able to see this from my bit of the organization. So you can be sure that any data is shown in analytics is just the same data that you see in Ciphr HR. Well, that's a quick look at Ciphr Analytics, a brand new application that we're excited to roll out in Q1. Now I want to kind of start touching on AI. You can't have AI without data. So I'm really pleased we've got this strong foundation of data, but also we've got a really strong data team here at Ciphr. We've got a data team with expertise in machine learning, analytics, artificial intelligence, but also that team has deep knowledge of Ciphr, our systems, and the HR market in general. So we're really excited by the AI functionality we're going to bring. And also we're excited because, you know, this is AI functionality that is also built on the same Microsoft stack that we use for Ciphr Analytics. So you can be sure that that data that is used by our AI models is protected, isn't getting loaded up into the wider AI world and used for wider training. It is your data. But also, we've also done our research on what HR professionals and payroll professionals want in AI functionality. We're not building anything gimmicky. What we're looking to build is those bits of functionality that can really help take the admin away from your roles, which then means you can focus on what you love doing best, which is just adding value to employees and ensuring your line managers are adding value to employees. So to demonstrate one such feature that we're working on right at this moment, Laurie's here to kind of give you a sneak peek of our first AI functionality. Laurie.
Cool. Thank you, Simon. So yeah, as Simon has said, we're working on a few different bits of AI functionality at the moment. And I'm going to give you a quick demo on the AI that we've been working on in our talent management module. What you're seeing today is a live demo. It's still in development. So it's not yet the final version, but we are very, very close. So just a bit of background. I'm signed into the system now as an employee. It's time for me to complete my annual performance review, which is actually quite timely because it's our annual review period here at Ciphr at the moment. So I've recently spent a lot of time going back through my sort of previous 12 months of one-to-ones to ensure that I've captured everything that has been written down in my performance reviews over the last 12 months to ensure that I haven't forgotten anything. And from my experience, it's taken me quite a bit of time to do that. And there was actually things that I would have forgotten to include in my yearly performance review if I hadn't have actually done that. So what we're developing here is with Ciphr's AI in this area, we're developing a solution to eliminate that sort of time-consuming process of manually reviewing all my previous performance reviews. And this AI is going to help sort of surface the key achievements and insights from my previous reviews, and then help provide helpful suggestions of how I could answer that question accurately. So this is not only going to save time, but it's going to ensure that it's a comprehensive reflection and that no important information has been missed. And it's not just the employee who's going to benefit from it, the managers will too. So AI is going to help managers to streamline their preparation of their employees' performance reviews, and eliminate that reliance on just their memory from the last couple of months, so it can help facilitate a productive conversation. So with that being said, I'm going to give you a quick demo. So what you can see on the system at the moment is my annual performance review. And you'll see that I have a number of questions to ask. I've got a reflection stage and I've got a career conversation stage. So the system is asking me to reflect on the year, what have been my key achievements and what have been my main challenges. So you'll see down here on the page, we have a suggest answer AI button. So I now have the ability to be able to start this wizard, and I can choose the types of reviews that I would like to send to AI to use to help suggest the questions to the answers from. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select my monthly one-to-ones, and I'm going to select my mid-year performance review. And I would like it to look back on the previous 12 months. So I'm going to go from January, let's go from January 2024, and I'll leave it open until now. And then what you're seeing now is these are my previous reviews that are in the system. So I've got all my one-to-ones, January, February, March. I've got my mid-year review in June. Actually, if there were some reviews in here that I don't want to use as part of the suggested answers, I could remove a few. Once I'm happy, I can then hit generate. So now this is where our data team have worked really hard. We've now pinged it over there, and it's now come back, and we have some suggested answers. So now next to each of my questions, I now have a populate button. So if I now click populate, based on my previous reviews, AI has looked at that and it's now giving me a suggested answer. So here I can now see that my key achievements include leading team meetings to foster collaboration, enhancing communication skills, etc. I can update this, I can amend it. If I want to include more, I could put, as an example, other achievements include, sorry, I haven't spelled that right, but there we get it. So you can see that I can update it, I can amend it, etc. So I can then carry on working through my review form. And what you'll see if I move on to the next stage of my review, it's also got the populate button next to the rest of the questions. So it's looked at the review form as a whole when I generated through the wizard, and any questions that are allowed to be answered by AI, it will suggest answers for all the questions in a review form. So again, I can hit populate, and again on the final question, and there we have it. Ciphr's AI feature, which will be coming out soon to help streamline the performance reviews of our employees and managers. So yeah, with that being said, I am now going to stop sharing, and I'm going to stop sharing screen. There we go. And I'm going to hand over to Phil, who's going to talk to us about our new benefits. Thanks, Phil.
Thanks, Laurie. Thanks, Simon. But before we start diving through the benefit side of things, just wanted to sort of refer back to what I mentioned a little bit earlier around supporting engagement and retention. We are in a very competitive marketplace. So I think we all agree that it's not just about that initial talent attraction piece, but it's about how you underpin that culture, brand, and identity, how you make staff comfortable, how you energize them in terms of their own career development opportunities within the organization. But it is also about well-being. It is about the benefits that you can offer and put on the table. These are critical aspects to being able to ensure that you have that competitive advantage in your marketplace. So I'm really delighted today because I get the opportunity to give you a little bit of a taster regarding our new benefits platform, which is Ciphr Benefits. So Catherine, if you can press the button. So Ciphr Benefits focuses on engagement, and it enables employees to flex a broad range of existing and new employee benefits, see a total reward statement, and also participate in a fully integrated reward and recognition program. The homepage serves to introduce the benefits journey and allows customers to personalize the messaging with their own content, text, pictures, videos. And as I move down the homepage, we've also got widgets that highlight announcements issued via email, benefit selection windows that are currently open, birthday wishes, or long service awards as well. You can see a menu on the left-hand side, and we're going to go through some aspects of these. In respect of benefits, benefit selections are visible by employee or groups of employees, so employees only ever see the benefits that are relevant to them, including benefits that are already in place, as well as new ones which we can suggest and curate from a wide portfolio. A summary page outlines benefits already selected and related periods, whilst a flex statement highlights cost to the employee, as well as tax treatment and impact on pay. As we move down the page, you'll see we have a number of tiles with a useful floating key at the top, which indicates if benefit selection windows are open, closed, or available year-round. Over the next few seconds, it's going to focus very much around pension side of things to give you an indication of pensions functionality. And that will also give an indication of what the employee journey would look like to make a change to their pension contribution, including any required agreements that can be hosted and retained digitally within the platform, as you can see being demonstrated here. Whilst it's taking you through that pensions journey, just a note on reporting as well. So in respect of management information and reporting, it's comprehensive. You've got standard, you've got bespoke design and creation. You've also got the ability in terms of reporting for benefit providers and also out to payroll as well. And those can be set to agreed schedules. That's also supported via the platform as well. So we're going to go and have a look quickly at some of the other aspects of Ciphr Benefits, which include things such as total reward statement, which provides a snapshot of total remuneration and can include non-financial benefits. We've got announcements, which provides bespoke messaging and survey tools. And we've also got reward and recognition capability, which encompasses both a points-based reward system and peer recognition. The rewards usually focused around the customer's corporate values, with points being allocated against different criteria and determined by the customer. And that can be from retail vouchers through to time off, charity donations, or even things like plant a tree. And then moving into things like health and well-being. So what you can see on screen here, a bit of an example of where we've drawn together a number of benefits to highlight a specific campaign. Health and well-being, I think for everybody now, is front of mind for all organisations. And here we show how we can address all areas of well-being, and that includes your physical, mental and financial in one place as well. There's an awful lot to the Ciphr Benefits platform, but it is very much around that engagement, that retention. Hopefully it gives you a little bit of a taster. Ultimately, the capability is really rich, content's flexible, and I think most critically, it's easily tailored to suit your individual organisation requirements. So hopefully we'll get the opportunity to speak to you individually around your requirements around that benefits side of things. Catherine, if we can just move on to the next slide, please. So just in terms of sort of top and tailing, I think I just want to sort of refer back and first of all to thank Simon and Laurie for those great run-throughs of what we're doing this year. But hopefully it's given you all a real feel for some of the great things that we're doing at the moment. Look, we're really excited. I hope that what we've talked about and shown today does resonate, is useful to you as well. But again, goes without saying, we'd be delighted to talk to you outside of today's webinar setting. So please don't hesitate to get in touch, but really hope you enjoyed what you've seen this morning. Catherine.
Hello, sorry, just bear with me while I'm coming back. Yeah, brilliant. Thank you so much, Phil. Now we're time for our Q&A. I've seen there's lots of questions coming in the chat, so thank you for that, and thank you for being so attentive. Thank you, Laurie and Simon, for those product demos. They were really insightful, and everything worked, which was a big relief from our side that the tech all worked. So that's great. So lots of questions come in. We'll do our best to get through all of them if we can. We've just got 20 minutes for the Q&A. So I'm going to start with one question from Chantal. She says, when will this new interface be live? Simon, can I put that one to you?
Yeah, sure. I think let's get straight to brass tacks, I guess, Chantal. Great question. It already is live, actually. So we went live with our first customer before Christmas, and we're going to be, we already have new implementations are live directly onto the interface, and our existing customers are moving to the new interface over the course of Q1. For existing customers, we've also taken a very kind of low risk approach. So, you know, with new Outlook, you get the little toggle that allows you to choose whether you try the new Outlook or not. It's going to be the same for our existing customers. But to come back to your answer, come back to your question, Chantal, it's happening now.
Brilliant, thank you very much. We've got a couple of questions come in about mobile. So I'll start with Victoria's one. Is there likely to be a mobile app rather than mobile optimization of a web page?
Yeah, I think I'll take this one. I'm quite passionate about this topic, Victoria. Never say never, but I will say actually what we've built so far is a mobile website that is optimized for use on mobiles. Of course, the challenge with mobile apps is you have to support iOS and Android on top of your web. But also, I'm actually passionate about web apps themselves. There's a lot of functionality you can deliver. I mean, Laurie's demo, it looked just like an application. We've used the modern web technologies to be able to deliver that. So never say never, but our focus has been on delivering a great native web experience rather than a mobile app in the first instance.
Thanks, Simon. I think from a consumer's perspective, it's quite a big ask to install an app on your phone. Like some people install them quite readily, some people are more reticent. So having a page that's available on the web that doesn't ask for the install can be a less of an ask for encouraging users to use it when they're out and about. So it can just kind of lower that barrier to adoption as well.
It's a really good point, Catherine. And also with the web, you actually can choose to install it on your home screen, and then they behave even more like a web app. And in fact, actually, if you want to try one of the best examples out there, encourage you go to app.starbucks.com on your mobile. And if you add that to your home screen, whether that's Android or iOS, you would not know that it was actually a web page running in the background. So yeah, but good point, Catherine.
Amazing, thank you. Just related to that, Vicky asks, on the mobile access, will you be adding an overtime entry or request option? Is that something that might be on our roadmap for mobile use?
I'll ask Laurie to dive a bit more into the detail of that.
Yeah, we do have quite a comprehensive list of all the new features that we want to start adding to mobile. So we have a roadmap for new features that will start coming out in 2025. The ability to add sort of payments and allowances or payments and overtime is definitely on that roadmap. The initial things that you'll start to see coming out with mobile over the next few months will be things like policy acceptance, personal details. They're the immediate things we're working on now. But yes, it's on the roadmap.
Fantastic, thanks, Laurie. Question from Helen here about the AI function. Can it be turned off? So I guess it gives us wider scope to talk about how we see the rollout of this tool proceeding within the software.
Yeah, definitely. So we plan to make it configurable. So it'll be in control of our customers to be able to choose if the AI functionality is available for particular review forms. So there might be some reviews that they don't want the AI functionality to be enabled for, but then there could be others like what I just did with like our annual performance review, where you might choose that, yeah, it would be really helpful to have that available there. Maybe not so much on a monthly one-to-one as an example. So it will be configurable.
Amazing, thank you very much. Phil, I haven't yet thrown you any questions. So Victoria asked a question about employee benefits module. Is that an additional cost for customers, or is that something that will be rolled out to everyone free of charge?
That is an additional cost. It's a large module. It's a specialist full end-to-end benefits platform. So that will be at additional charge. I think the key will be getting the opportunity to take it to the market, both for people who aren't currently customers of Ciphr, but also existing customers. And there'll be further webinars coming soon, but we're also looking for that opportunity to talk to individual customers and take them through that platform. But yes, it will incur additional fees.
Cool, thank you. And Victoria or anyone else, if you want to see more about Ciphr benefits, we'd be happy to give you a follow-up demo separately and talk to you about your requirements and put you in touch with the specialist benefits team, because that product is now offered by us as part of an acquisition. So there is like a real team of experts backing that solution who can advise you on implementing that for your organisation and if that's right for you. Let's have a think about the analytics suite that we showed today. So what type of pre-built reports are available within that analytics suite? And is there the option to build custom reports?
Yeah, so that's a really good question there. So we've got pre-built dashboards giving you that high-level organization view. We've got holiday, focusing on holiday usage and entitlement. We've got absence. We've got D&I that I showed. And also shortly we'll be building turnover, looking at employee turnover, and also performance. Within those dashboards, you've then got further kind of sheets. So I mainly concentrate on the overview, but you've got the ability to drill into a particular KPI and generate insights on that. So for example, you may choose to drill into length of service. You can do year-on-year analysis. And then as I showed, you can do some pretty comprehensive kind of pivot tabling that allows you to get the data into Excel should you need. Also, you've then got the filtering. So what we'll also be adding, it wasn't there on this kind of early view, but what we'll be adding shortly is the ability to kind of bookmark filters. So that actually, if you've got a particular question you need to answer each week, what you'll be able to do is bookmark a particular report with a particular set of filters and KPIs selected, so that you can just quickly go to that every week. So yeah, good answer, good question, and yeah, hopefully that answered it for you.
Thank you very much, Simon. Sorry, I've just lost the next question that I was gonna put to you guys. I will find it. So we saw that the analytics suite is using Power BI. Are there export options to take that data back out into Power BI or into any other tools?
That's a really good question, actually. So and we discovered when talking to our customers that yes, they want this functionality, and yes, Power BI is. We looked at Power BI or Tableau, and Power BI was the tool that was used by most of our customers. So we wanted to provide that out of the box. But also, you know, a lot of our customers have a dedicated data team. We quite often find people and payroll teams are at the bottom, at the end of the queue to get access to that. But nonetheless, you know, some people are lucky to have a data team. What we're going to be doing in 2025, so it's not there available in Q1, but will be available as per our roadmap, is we're actually going to be exposing an API that allows you to get access to the underlying transformed data and bring it into your external data pipeline, so that you will be able to bring the analysis that we've pre-built into Tableau or into your own Power BI dashboards, because we appreciate it's very common that you'll want to bring people data, perhaps alongside sales data, perhaps alongside your customer service data. So yeah, absolutely, definitely on the plans to deliver that functionality.
Thank you very much. And then the one I was looking for, which is related to that, for existing customers, will their current built reports be accessible once we've moved to the new interface?
Yeah, I'm going to let, you've heard me talk enough, so I'm going to let Laurie answer that as the leader of our new interface work.
Cool. Yes, so for our existing customers, there'll be no change. Everything will still be available. When we do transition you across to the new UI, all of your configuration, i.e. your security, etc., will be completely mirrored over and transferred over. So there's no change functionality wise. I say that. Bar sort of the logging experience that Simon demonstrated. So we've improved our logging experience, but bar that, when we transition customers over to our new UI, everything else will still remain exactly the same. So they'll still have full access to everything that they've configured and they're set up in the old UI.
I think there's an interesting part of this, Helen, as well, which is operational reporting versus analytical reporting. that's not quite as black and white as you might want. But the existing operational reporting functionality isn't going anywhere. Although what you may find is some of the reporting you've built into it actually maybe now be better answered through Ciphr Analytics. So you've got two routes now to get to the underlying data and get the reports out you wish.
Thank you very much. I'm going to throw a question over to Phil because I haven't heard you for a little bit. So Sandra asked that she's in an SME that deals with around 50 employees. What's a typical employee size, organization size that Ciphr usually work with?
I mean, the fact is we're very much a sort of UK mid-market. That is our sort of sweet spot in terms of customers that we work with. But there is no sort of lower limit or upper limit. The reality is it's about your requirements as an organization. So to an extent, it's more about the maturity of your own people management function and the requirements and demands on you. The reality is we have customers that have 30, 40, 50 employees that may be growing or may have plans for growth, but you could have an organization with 50 employees who've got a more mature people management function with more significant demands than an organization 10 times its size. So whilst I would say that typically we're dealing with organizations of 50 or 100 plus, the reality is even at 50 employees, absolutely, Ciphr can be fit for purpose. It's a flexible tool. It's for you to decide what you want to deploy to different stakeholder groups and users across the organization. So it's as complex or as simple as you need it to be. But absolutely, Sandra, would be delighted to sit down and have a conversation around your requirements.
Okay, thank you, Phil. And a related question to that, we've had a couple of questions come in about how far workflows and approval processes can be tailored to mirror an organization's HR operations. Can you talk to us about that, Phil?
Yeah, I mean, I think in terms of the platform itself, it comes with several out-of-the-box workflow capabilities. So automated email triggers and alerts, verifications, notifications, task management, scheduling of report distribution, being able to create onboarding journeys. So lots of things that you can be doing. And again, in the majority of instances, those can be tailored to specific HR operations or organizational requirement as well. So again, with onboarding journeys, you could have multiple streams of onboarding journey that may be based on part of an entity within your organization or a location. Similarly, you can create task and workflow processes that can be specific to certain things. It might be workflow tracking a new starter or a leaver or a pay change. So we're trying to provide capabilities out of the box that support, including things like bulk change wizards as well. You may have a department that's ceasing and everybody's moving somewhere else, being able to lift and shift and doing it in a user-friendly way. But again, we try to make it configurable and tailorable, but we're also providing several out-of-the-box capabilities as well.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that answer. So I've just lost the question I was going to ask. Oh, here we go. Can multiple roles be added to an employee's primary role within the system?
Yes, I mean, I doubt Laurie was going to dive in. Yeah, the HR platform handles multiple posts. So again, fully aware that across many sectors, in particular things like education or housing, and local government, people may hold more than one post, more than one contract. So Ciphr HR gives you the capability to effectively create your primary role, but you could have a secondary role, a third role, a fourth role, etc. So again, you can maintain a complete history of each individual contract from a job and pay and contractual perspective as well. So yes, Ciphr HR can cater for multiple posts.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. One question that we haven't covered yet is, although we've mentioned that the new user interface is being rolled out to customers already, what would be a typical implementation timeline for someone purchasing our new HR software?
So one thing I would say is everything's underpinned by a very robust project methodology, because whilst we need to flex to fit, and we're fully appreciative of the fact that lots of our customers don't have dedicated project resource that they can aligned to a project. So typically some of the internal burden is falling on the HR team. Generally, you're very busy. You don't have time to burn, so you're having to fit this in around your business's usual activities as well. So we'll always be mindful of that, but we look to tailor an implementation team to your requirement, your scope. It's underpinned by that formal methodology, which means you've got structures, you've got plans, you've got alignment of expectation about what's going to be delivered and when, including lines of responsibility, lines of communication. In terms of an implementation timeline, to an extent, it depends on the scope of the project, but to give a little bit of an indication, if you were procuring our central HR platform, then the reality is from point of order to you being able to use that platform live in anger, as it were, you're probably going to be looking between sort of 12 to 14, 12 to 16 weeks. The thing that tends to very much determine the speed of an implementation is not just about what we do, but it's also about things such as your data. So things like data migration, we don't know your data. We're not going to go into other people's systems and start playing around with it. We will support you in that migration and import exercise. But ultimately, there is some requirement around that data population and cleansing that falls on the customer. And sometimes that can determine the speed or otherwise of that initial phase. But I would say 12 to 16 weeks is fairly typical to be live with your central HR system from point of order.
Amazing. Thanks so much, Phil. Let me just check the Q&A if there's any last questions that we want to cover right now. There's some which I have replied to by text, so if you're waiting for an answer, you may have had a text response from here. The last question is about preventing unauthorized access to employee data. So I know that with the analytics suite, that is, for example, linked to role-based access. Is that right, Simon?
Yes, that's correct. Yes, I think covered that a little bit. Role-based access just kind of covers everything and anything an employee can access, anything they can see, anything they can do. We also talked about the AI functionality earlier. That is how we'll also restrict access to AI. As we talked about, that in the HR system then carries over to analytics. So we haven't kind of built any kind of extra system in analytics you need to worry about. That just carries over your permissions from the HR system. And I know I saw also there are a couple of other questions around kind of data protection and encryption. All of our systems are built and run in Microsoft's Azure platform. So we use their enterprise platform for everything we do, whether that's running our systems, running our databases, running our data platform, running our AI models. So we can be certain to Francis's question, it's fully encrypted at rest in Microsoft's data centers, but also during transit as well, we use all the modern encryption technology to ensure that's protected. And then finally to the user, where we also then use multi-factor authentication to ensure that actually it is the right user viewing the information. So a lot of time has been spent ensuring that data is protected at every part of the system.
Just to add to that, probably as you'd expect, we're ISO 27001, we're Cyber Essentials Plus. We're also on the UK government's G-Cloud framework. So we've jumped through quite a lot of due diligence hoops to be approved to provide cloud solutions to central and local government agencies. So again, more than happy to answer any specific questions after today with a bit more detail, but ultimately the protection of our customers' data is at the heart of everything that we do. It is our business, so it's absolutely critical for us.
Yeah, and I saw there was some, we jumped through a lot of hoops with auditors. So for example, penetration testing is an annual exercise and something that occurs on every new product. Those reports are available to customers. And also there were a few questions. I was just trying to find another question which I was going to jump to. Can't quite find it actually. So I'll jump back to the team, and if I find the question I wanted to answer, I'll reply in text.
Okay, fantastic. Thanks very much. We've nearly run out of time for today, so it just remains to me to say thank you, Simon, Laurie and Phil, for all your expertise and insight on this call today. I really appreciate it. Thank you to everyone who's joined us live for your attendance and for sending in so many interesting questions. We really hope that this has given you a great flavour of our HR product and all the hard work and new functionality we're releasing this year. If you want more information, you can find us at ciphr.com, or you can email us at info@ciphr.com. You can also use the exit survey to request a follow-up demo if you'd like. This has all been recorded, and the recording will be emailed to you later this afternoon, so you can rewatch any parts of it or share it with a colleague. So with that, thank you everyone for joining us today. We really appreciate you being here, and we hope to see you at another Ciphr webinar again soon. Take care.
Thank you for your time, everybody. Cheers.
Thank you very much. Thanks.
Thank you.